Talking brain, enlightened minds, seeking out truths, seeing the world with the mind of those who see beyond the three-dimensionally. Souls, talking brain, ask the right questions, uncovers the blinds.
Hey. Welcome everyone to Souls Talking Brain on Being Love TV. I'm Ronnie Lipstein, and this lovely goddess to my left, which might look like
to my right
to everybody else,
is Aline Ohanessian. And thank you for joining us here on Being Love TV's Soul Talking Brain show. Today, we've got an amazing, wonderful, brilliant, lovely guest. But before we get to introducing our guest, I just want to make mention to everybody this is a live interactive broadcast, which means that you watching right now can share your voice, your thoughts, just you being back there. You can sign in with Twitter, Facebook, AIM, or MySpace. And
as well as Ustream
right.
if you have an account. And the Ustream account is free, so if you don't have one, it's Chick Chack, and you can sign up and chat with us live.
That's right.
As well as with our very, very special guest, whom we are extremely honored and humbled to have here with us today.
Yes, we do. This is exciting. Just if there's any other things that I wanted to make mention before we continue, if you have any questions or just leave them on, well, you can do it through the social stream or the chat, and so that way we can repeat what it is that you would like to ask our guest.
All of the interactions, the show, as Aline had mentioned earlier, is a live show. So this is happening in real time right now and is audience interactive vis-a-vis texting. So you write and we will share whatever it is that you have said on the show. So those who are not signed in or who are not with us present will know that you are here and what it is that you would like to share. And of course, once we have our wonderful special guest, if you would like to ask any questions, we will be able to see your questions as you write them, share them with our guest, who will then be able to respond to you. So speaking about this mysterious guest, also because we have such a wonderful guest and we know that you are going to want to share this fabulous experience with everybody that you know, there is a share button right about where the Being Love TV icon is currently.
This is on live on Ustream. If you're watching this pre-recorded, it won't be, but sharing the button is, well,
yes,
share it
so
on
for
anywhere.
right now.
Yeah.
You can share the show with everybody that you know. There's all of the social networks there, so it's a click of a button, and you can invite all of your friends to come and partay with us on this fabulous, wonderful experience.
Partay!
So, who is our mystery guest that we are alluding to?
Who? Well, shall we give her a call?
Well, let's introduce. Let's
yes.
give a little.
We
intro
should actually.
First,
that would be good. That would be really good. Actually, it's a good idea. Ladies and gentlemen, Cheryl Janecky. Cheryl Janecky is a motivational speaker, teacher. She teaches shamanic wisdom and offers private soul retrieval. She is a published author, and her latest book is a blending of ancient wisdom and the newest sciences.
Sections of the book became her website, Quick Good Fortune. Here she offers expert advice, tips, and strategies, an open invitation to live the life of your dreams in the flow of good fortune.
Mm-hmm.
And before we even call Cheryl, I should say that I have had the enormous pleasure of journeying through Cheryl's free Quick Good Fortune program that she offers on her site, and we will have the address up. Don't worry.
Right, don't worry.
Everybody stay calm now. You'll be able to get a hold of Cheryl. All of her information will be broadcast throughout the show today, so no worries there.
That's right.
But I can say from personal experience, having gone through the program and visited Cheryl's site and having been interacting with her now for a little while, that I truly benefited from journeying through this program, and I, being one who myself provides guidance and assists others, was assisted by Cheryl. So I'm very excited to get her on the line. So why don't we give her a call right now so we can get the party started.
Get it going. There's
All
so
right.
much love online. Thank you. Thank you. All love back at you all. Thank you for being here. We are right now calling Cheryl Janecky.
And there, you can watch the show, by the way, on Ustream. Oh, hello.
Hi there.
Hello, Cheryl. How are you? It's wonderful to see you.
Well, I'm wonderful. I loved your introduction.
Oh, well, you make it easy. So, are you hearing us through Skype right now?
I'm gonna close out the website. I was listening on the website.
Yeah. Okay. So close the website because there's like a 2-minute delay.
There we go.
Yeah. Perfect. So, do you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. There we go. How are you doing, love?
I am good.
Thank you so very much for joining us today. It's really wonderful that you were able to make time in your day to be here with us and to share in this experience and to share all of the fabulousness that you are doing in this world and for the benefit of all. And we really can't wait to get into it. So maybe you can give us a little introduction into how you found yourself doing what you're doing right now.
Well, I'm glad you asked that because I don't always look back and think back on it. But for years, I had clients and I did workshops and counseling, and I kept thinking, you can only reach the people in your immediate vicinity that way. Those that are around and close by. And so often people would say, "Oh, I'd love to share this," but the people weren't there. And sometimes I, talk long distance on the phone or Skype. But I started writing a book, and the book was really about everybody thinks they know that they are doing life right, that they are thinking positively, and certainly everybody on this call is following a heart path and is really doing the best they can, and yet at times things just don't go well.
Right.
And what happens when that happens? And so that's kind of what the book started out to be about. Well, when you're stuck and when things aren't going right, most people don't really understand how life mirrors and how they're getting what they're getting. And so that was my book. And then I decided to put it on the website. So It's about a third of my book, and that's what you commented on.
So how did you get into providing the guidance and participating in life healing and being of service to others in the first place? How did you find your calling to do what it is that you were doing that inspired the book?
Well, I suppose, like everybody, I wanted my life better.
Okay.
And things didn't work. And,
Okay.
I have a natural talent for teaching. And even from the time I was a little kid, I taught all sorts of things, even when I was really young. And so I would take, whatever I had learned, and I would turn around and share it or talk with people. And
Yeah.
oftentimes, people would, oh, that helped me so much. And
right.
That, that was so encouraging that it really led me to do more and more and more.
Okay, wonderful. Now, you mentioned that everybody thinks that they know how to live the right way, the life that they want to be living and feel that they are, and yet a lot of people aren't. So you were doing lectures and assisting people and wound up writing this book. What is it that you have found that is different, and not only different, but actually does work with respect to living right and being able to manifest what it is that we are wanting in our lives and having that better life, as you spoke to?
It is having it and consistently having it, because so often we'll get lucky and then something happens and we lose it and it comes and goes, and that seems to be the path most followed.
Okay.
And what I've discovered, and it's very, very simple. I mean, most people, the law of attraction, the secret, all the stuff out there, just do this thing or just do that thing. But what I found the most effective is it's not what I think is what I get, but what I feel is what I get. This is a vibrating universe, and many don't understand that they're thinking really positively, but they're feeling maybe worried or concerned or anxious, and so they get more to be worried, concerned, and anxious about.
Okay.
And yet it sounds so simple, and everybody says, well, I do feel positive. And, really for a lot of the time, I'm sure they do. But the universe is responding to us 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
And so for all the time we're anxious, that's kind of the ups and downs and ups and downs.
Right.
Because we're not really realizing that we're doing that too.
Okay. So how do you distinguish then? Because a lot of people, if somebody is thinking positive thoughts, how is it that they are feeling otherwise? Because usually what somebody is thinking and feeling kind of support one another.
Well, and that's often true. The big difference is thought, or your linear logical mind, is only active about 3 to 5% of the time.
Okay.
95% of the time, it's that huge sea of the subconscious. And that's a blueprint you inherited as a child. I mean, many of those habits, maybe your mom was anxious or your dad got fired from a job when you were 3 years old, and you don't even remember it. But when somebody opens a checkbook or talks about money, and maybe your parents were frustrated or anxious about it, and you just picked up on that. Children are little sponges.
Right,
and
absolutely.
Now you don't realize it.
So
my big test is if you open your checkbook and you look at it and you say, wow, this is really great. I have enough to pay 2 of my 5 bills. And let's see, what one should I pay? And I'm so grateful for the bills, because it means, I get that road system and I get electricity and I get water, and I'm really happy about that. Or you open your checkbook and you think, oh my God, I can only pay 2 of 5 bills.
Right. So,
and just those moments, I mean, that's the undercurrent, and that's 95% of the time.
So what does somebody do then? Because what you're speaking to, what I'm hearing you saying, is that the feelings, as we are distinguishing between the feelings and the thoughts, the feelings are coming from our subconscious. So
Right.
we're not consciously choosing to feel fearful at the first mention of money, but because of an association that we have learned through conditioning and socialization from our childhood, when money comes up, this subconscious or unconscious fear is risen to the surface, and suddenly we're feeling the fear. So how do we deal with that? Because it is subconscious and we aren't recognizing it until it's actually there. So what do we do then?
Well, actually, most don't even recognize it when it's there. It just is who we are. And you don't think twice about it, sadly. And that's what I find with clients. And the process of changing it or getting aware is really beginning to look around and looking at life as a mirror. And if you're looking at a mirror and you've got a sad face, you can't go over there and paint a happy face on the mirror. You've got to smile.
Right.
Yeah.
And that means that you really genuinely, to get that mirror to respond to you the way you want to, is look at it like a mirror. Because when you're looking out at life and something, whatever happens, and you take responsibility for it, say, okay, I don't know how, but somehow I'm doing this, then you can begin the process of letting go of whatever it is. When you don't own it, then you blame, feel bad, or sometimes it's just painful, so you flip on music or you ignore it.
Okay.
And so the real first phase is recognizing, wow, life's a mirror, so it's a perfect feedback system.
Right.
And when I take responsibility for everything that's up, and then make some new choices, so that if I'm kind of looking at, maybe a job change or something different, and I'm feeling like, yes, I really want that, but your whole experience with life is changes were not good. Maybe they weren't good in childhood. And so looking at it and saying, I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling nervous. There are so many new techniques out now, and many are free, that you can practice to change your mind, to choose a new way of feeling. But first you have to recognize you're doing it.
Okay, so the first step is when we have a negative feeling, instead of becoming consumed by that feeling, to be able to actually allow for a space to recognize the feeling. Is that appropriate to say?
Yeah, that you've got to see it to change it.
Okay, so once we've recognized it, because there, as you said, this is an unconscious, most likely something that we've learned from childhood, feeling and reaction to whatever stimulation is causing the fear. We need to be able to recognize it, and then once we've created that space, we've allowed for the objectivity to see, okay, I'm not feeling positive right now, and not delve into it. What can we do? Because it's it kind of gives me like an image of these little construction workers inside my head, except that I don't see them, and we're supposed to be the four person and giving directions, but it's unconscious. So how do we help that which we cannot see? So that it doesn't keep coming back, as you said, because people seem to, do this pendulum between the good and the bad. How do we keep it on a flow of positivity?
Well, once you've made the observation and you've made the choice, and you realize, okay, I've got a problem with how, say, I'm looking at money, because that's usually an issue, but it could be a health issue,
right?
As well. But say, okay, I don't have cash flow right now. There's your feedback. There's the fact that there's something going on in me that's not opening to the flow of life, because the flow of life is hugely abundant. And if I'm not tapped into it, then I am somehow blocking it. So if you start from there,
Okay.
and I'm going to mention a couple of techniques. There's one up right now that I think is excellent. And I just want to put it out there because right now it's free. And that's the Tapping World Summit. And what it is, it's emotional freedom technique, EFT. There are many, but this is the 10-day period where you can get 2 free workshops a day for 10 days at no cost.
Wow.
And it's excellent. And I really, really encourage people. There's a number of free things. My website has the links to it.
Okay.
So
and we have your website up on screen right now.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
For those who, just to say it out loud, it's quick-good-fortune.com. And then you could also get to her Facebook and Twitter as well from the screen that you see. So you said this program is on this site, right? Quickgoodfortune.com. Right. Perfect.
Yeah. Once you get to Quick Good Fortune, then on the left there's a column with all the pages. Scroll down to EFT, or close to the bottom, and click on it. And right at the top of that page is a link that will take you, sign in, and then they send you the links. You have 24 hours to listen to each topic. And you'll scroll down. The program is also for sale, of course, because that's what pays, for it to do. Some people do want to own it, but you don't need to.
Right.
You can do the whole thing free.
Right.
And so scroll down and look at the I think a day or two has gone by now. So I think there's 18 left. So scroll down and pick the ones. I want this one, I want this one, I want this one, and write it on your calendar so you don't forget. And then, you'll be sent the links and you can go listen to that one and tap along with them even a couple of times.
Oh.
And it will make a huge difference because what that's doing, EFT has the power. It's the meridian system in your body.
Right.
So when you're feeling anxious, it can collapse those feelings, really accessing all those little workers that you're trying to be foreman of.
So I'm just going to, I'm just going to, while you're explaining it, I'm just going to show people, so if you can continue explaining it, I'm just going to show people what an EFT session looks like or what tapping looks like so that they can understand with the meridians.
Thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely.
Very simple. Thank you.
Okay, cool. That's hitting major acupuncture points, and but it works best when you feel it. So if you're like looking at your check, something will always make you feel anxious about money, and usually adding up your bills and looking at the cash flow and a few things like that usually it's good for a tummy ache for most. And once you're feeling it, that means you've accessed these real old feelings. They're probably not even yours. You probably inherited them. So getting over them won't be difficult. And tapping is a really good way to dislodge them. And once you start on the process, one, you want to get rid of that energy surge that's up when you feel anxious. Right.
Then two, you want to have some place to put your attention that you love.
Okay.
So the second step is, and this is also free on my website. I wrote a whole book, 21 Days to Good Fortune.
I did the program, loved it.
Oh, good.
Loved it. Yes, it was extraordinarily inspiring.
And every 5 days. You sign up for that.
Yeah.
Every 5 days you get a lesson. And it walks you through going from looking out at the world and feeling frustrated and anxious and maybe even a little scared to shifting that focus and your attitude to you.
Right.
What do you love? What's your passion? When you start making a list of who you are and what you love, you discover not only are you lovable and worthy, but you have really something to give to life. And it becomes important, more important than the junk out in the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you're on the way. Now you have a place to go to that you love. And can you feel the difference between when we talk about money and, oh my God, I don't have enough, and I wish I did, and I want to be positive, to, hey, look, I'm really worthy and I've got a worthwhile goal and I know I can do it. I can make a living doing what I love.
So it's essentially what the Quick Good Fortune website, the 21-day program, your book, and everything is essentially providing catalysts by which somebody can shift their perspective, right? To be able to look at their life instead of from the position of the victim, coming from the position of the creator, and therefore taking responsibility for their lives and recognizing that they actually are empowered to create the life that they want. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. And it is attitude. You just nailed it perfectly. And you know what? Most people don't realize they're not doing that. And that's why I kind of spread it out and made the website so big. It's huge. I know. It's not like any other website. People told me, you can't do that. No one wants to read those long pages. I get emails every day from someone in countries that I didn't even know were countries. And saying, I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. I finally understand.
Right.
It may not be the right way to do it, but it sure works for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned something on site and in your program that I have actually used with different words with my own clients, and that I really loved, and I think that it's a very, very helpful technique. And this is going beyond something like EFT, for example, where you're in the moment, which again, I mean, you could do EFT right in the moment, and it only takes 2 minutes. But the moment that feeling of fear, negativity arises, you speak about a bridge and using it as a bridge to get you to the alternative perspective. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I love it.
So thank you. Bridging is a process of, I'm not feeling good right now in this moment. I'm not feeling good about money. And it's talking to yourself and saying, well, those feelings come and go. And there are many times that I do have enough money. And I have a lot of potential for earning more money. Mm-hmm. And slowly you are walking yourself step by step, and it's good to write it out. Now, I just picked that quick because it's a big issue for a lot of people now.
Yes, of course.
But you could do the same thing with health. If you had a health problem and you for many, fatigue seems to be overcoming many. Yeah. Then you would take, okay, I feel really tired now. But there are many times that I feel more energized, and sometimes when I just drink a lot of fresh water, I feel better. And if I eat a better diet, I feel better. Mm-hmm. And if I go for a walk every day, even when I don't feel like it, if I just go for 5 minutes in Mother Nature, I feel better. Wow, maybe I can do this.
So it's
and go ahead.
I was going to say it's the bridging is going from the defeatist self-talk or mind tape that we play in our heads to the cheerleader who's uplifting us voice instead. Would that
absolutely? But remember, it's got to be true, and It's got to be your truth. And EFT works the same way. If it's somebody else's story about weight loss or whatever, and it's not yours, it doesn't work as well for you. So really think about, feel into it, and say, okay, what is true for me? If you're really, really sick, you may not be able to go for a walk for a day, but saying that won't help you much. But if you do say, wow, I could sit up today, and it felt so good to stretch, if it's that tiny and it's true, it'll help move you.
So focus on whatever positive that there is, essentially.
Yes, that's true for you, because your body's a truth machine. Oftentimes we get in our head and we think up solutions and answers and processes and whatever. But the truth is, our body and our mind, heart wisdom, when we come down in the heart, when we really feel this is me, this is the real me. And we sink into that sense of really trusting our body, because, boy, our body is honest. Our mind will trick us, but our body, if you put something you don't like in your mouth, you'll spit it out in a red-hot minute. The same thing is true. When you trust your body and you really listen for what your body wants right now and how to make your body feel better, you've got 100 trillion cells in your body resonating to life. And when you're happy, those cells are multiplying, and they're taking in food, and your whole life feels good, and your energy's up. And then when you get anxious, all those cells begin to close down, because if you're anxious, maybe there's a tiger in the bush.
Right.
Better get ready, fight or flight.
Right.
And the cells close down. The next thing you know, your immune system shuts off. Then your brain goes from thinking to the limbic brain to even back to the reptilian brain. If you keep that anxiety up, your entire body is now shut down, your immune system shut off, your mind shut off. You just made yourself sick and stupid. Yeah, don't do that. That's not a good thing.
Right. So
anxiety is like putting poison in your mouth. You put something icky in your mouth. Just think slimy, icky, don't do that. And that's what anxiety, frustration, annoyance, all that stuff is not good for you. And it doesn't take much. You can turn around and look at something beautiful. Out the window, a flower, listen to music, take a bath. And you can wash that away. But you've got to keep that body. That's your 95% subconscious resonance. Is your body, heart, wisdom.
Right.
Really being in that heart. Because that's where you create. It's 5,000 times stronger than your mind. And so sinking into that heart is going to get you what you want in life.
Sinking into the heart, eh?
Oh, it's a good place to be.
Oh, yes, it is. So what's the most difficult task you think that it is for most people? What is most difficult for most people?
Changing their mind. Changing your mind. Because most people can't believe that, one, their ideas are their parents, that they inherited them and they're not even their own. And so, it's logical they would think that. They're a little baby, they're a little sponge for 7 years, they take on all this stuff that's mom and dad, mostly mom, actually, because dads are usually working. So here you are, imprinted and programmed, and about 4 or 5, your mind forms, when you have a sense of awe, you look back and you say, oh, this is why I do what I do. And you're making sense out of the program. My solution is, not arguing with all that old junk in there, but just choosing instead to step off of it, to step into an image of you that you love, and let that old stuff just die out because you don't activate it. Well, and that's what that 21 days starts out. It says, who are you? What do you love? What do you like? Yeah. So that you can focus on what you love, not what your mom loved or was afraid of.
Well, most of
you love.
Exactly. Change just in and of itself is extremely difficult for all. We as our nature, the human nature, don't like change. We like things that are safe. We like things that we know or that we're familiar with. And so, since we are born, we are, conditioned by what is surrounding us. And yes, we do take on what is everybody else's. And then somewhere along the way, lose track or just forget to pay attention to what it is that is our truth, just our own truth. And to be able to change our mind can be quite scary.
Well, it's also what it is that we're having to change our mind from. It's not just what we've been taught from our parents, but society teaches us that whatever is manifesting is manifesting because of what it is that we are doing, and the moving and the shaking. Yeah. And if you're not working hard enough, you're not making it happen. To come from a perspective where you are actually taking responsibility for your thoughts and your feelings, and recognizing that how you are thinking and feeling is actually having an effect on what you are creating and what is manifesting in your life, what you are experiencing, is a difficult thing to
get your head around. Yes.
It's not just a lesson from mom or dad. It's our entire global society currently operates from a perspective of you have to see it to believe it. So to have to believe essentially that what you think and what you feel has an enormous effect on what you actually experience it seems very counterintuitive to most people.
Yeah.
So how would you, you mentioned that there was the tapping, the EFT. What other processes or resources or tips can you provide people to assist them with this changing of the mind?
Well, it is a huge challenge because change, like you said, is scary for most. And, well, you know, the first change we have in life oftentimes sets our attitude towards change. And that was our birth. We went from being in a warm, nice little fluid, listening to mama's heartbeat with everything taken care of, to whoosh, probably for most a drugged birth. And then here you are in a harsh world, some slapped on the bottom, shots, all sorts of miserable things. And no wonder when you're facing change, you might hold on and think, wait a minute, I want to know what's going to happen before I'm willing to go there again. And I think that it is a gentle, you can't fight yourself and win. You know, you just can't. So you really kind of like you're coaxing yourself like you would a child or a puppy or a horse, and you're talking yourself into it because it's the body. It's the body feeling self. I have a page on my website called Change Your Mind, Change Your Life. And that is a real easy, slow way to make these changes.
Mm-hmm. So patience obviously is something that we need to be fostering in this development.
And encouraging that, and looking back, and this is tapping is really good because you can look at it and tap the silliness out. You know, when you're assuming that, okay, we're all a little afraid of change, and you got to kind of own that because that's really true for all of us. Yeah. We've all had some bad changes. So there is some anxiety for all of us. So, but, you know, to say, okay, change isn't good. And that's what our mind does. It kind of closes like a steel trap. So EFT and PS Tech and TAT and, you know, the different methods, Ho'oponopono, so many of them, what they do is they kind of wake us up and they say, well, if you hadn't changed, you'd still be in diapers. You know, how would you like to still be in the first grade? And you kind of tease yourself into, well, there were these good changes. You met someone you loved. You made new friends. You got a job you liked. Think how much more fun it is to drive a car than walk.
Right.
And slowly you kind of just, and then your body relaxes. You know, you know when you've hit the right combination because you just, kind of an oxytocin side there.
Right. I want to get,
and that's,
I'd like to get more into the whole body-mind connection, but in just 20 seconds, we're just going to do a little share the love commercial break.
Okay, perfect.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. Please do share the love that we are sharing here on Being Love TV, Soul's Talking Brain, with our very special guest, Cheryl Janecky, whom before we left for our little Share the Love break, which, by the way, there are sharing social networks on site, as well as an embed code that you can embed the video. So definitely do share with all you know.
And just speaking of love and sharing, I would like to also just make mention and say hello and welcome to all of our lovely guests that have been joining us here in the social stream as well as the chat stream. Cheryl, you've got plenty of love that's being sent forth here. Lots of hearts, lots of pretty red hearts going around. So we want to say thank you for joining. And we also want to just make mention, if anybody also has anything that they themselves would like to share or ask Cheryl while we've got her here on our show today, just write it down and send it over, and then when we get to it, we will.
You can write while we're talking with Cheryl,
and we can share it with Cheryl as well.
As soon as it comes up, once there's an opportunity, we can ask the question.
Yes.
So if there is anything, a shout out to the Feather Lady, to Magic Works, and all of the others who are here with us today. Please, again, feel free just to type in any questions or comments that you would like to share with us throughout the show. So before the break, we were talking about the mind-body connection and how we should be paying attention to how what we're thinking is and how it's affecting us in a feeling basis, not just feeling emotions, but feeling physically in the body and becoming more tuned into that. So that's very interesting because most people don't talk about the physical body when they're speaking about feelings.
No.
They talk about...
Well, they talk about feelings, which is
emotions.
Which is not necessarily associated with the physical. They don't... Do you know what I mean? We don't... At least that's what I think, that most people would not associate that inside your body.
Yeah.
Right? Feelings. Maybe they might do this, like I just did, right? Hold your hands to your chest over here and say feelings, but not really connect that in that way.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have thought of it that way.
Can you say a little bit more about that? Because this is very interesting.
I'd love to, and I love how you summarized it too, because I agree. Getting people conscious of their physical body and their heart is really, remember, your heart is 5,000 times stronger than your brain. So if you're thinking, I want health, I want money, I want, you really don't have a chance of getting it from there. Okay. Where in your heart, if you're feeling, ooh, I just love, and then the things that money would buy you, the heart really and the body doesn't get turned on to pieces of paper.
Right.
It's just not going to. But it does with a beautiful walk in nature, and oh, I love these silky clothes, and ooh, I really like dressing up and playing dress up, and I love these flowers, and I'd love to live in a beautiful place. And you just keep feeling into the feeling so that your whole body is resonating to it. One time, I lived in a real teeny little place. Everything I owned was crammed into about 700-800 square feet. It was just packed. And I wanted to live in a spacious place, but every time I was there, it was packed. And so I'd go to the library, and I'd sit in the Beverly Hills Library, which was gorgeous, and I would sit in it, put my feet up on their big cushy chairs, and sit back with a magazine, whatever, and I'd say, oh, I love this. I love the spaciousness. I love, and feel into it. I'd go to one of the real fancy hotels. You know how they have the happy hour?
Yeah.
It would be my dinner. And I'd go in, and someone would always buy me a drink. So I would have,
course,
snacks, whatever, but I'd look around and I'd say, wow, this is for me. This is what I want. I love this.
So when you're talking about
my body.
So when you're talking about the heart, what you're actually speaking to is coming from the position of what you love versus what you hate or what you don't like. So because people can sometimes get mixed up with terminology, right? So I just want to be as clear as possible. When speaking about our bodies physically respond to our thoughts and feelings.
To the feeling.
When you're stressed, you get tensed up, and when you're relaxed and happy, you're more.
Well, you feel more
relaxed.
The feeling is in your body. It's the
and
feeling,
the heart is coming from the positive perspective, as opposed to the negative or the fear-based perspective. Is that appropriate?
Really well said.
Okay,
and to remember, the fear is always linear and logical. It's a series of thoughts. That's brain stuff. That's in the mind. There is no fear stuff from the heart. When your soul self, when your inner self is speaking to you, it's always in the positive. It's always inspiration.
Okay.
And don't go
I like
there.
that.
So the way that you know that your authentic self, your soul, your truth is speaking to you, the voice that you want to be is the one that makes you feel good. It's the one that's positive.
It's the one that encourages you, inspiration. Oh, I love this. And there aren't really, like I'm using words, but really imagine you're looking out at something really beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just kind of, that's heart speak. That's feeling into the heart. And sometimes you may feel your mind is saying, well, you got to do these 10 things today and blah, 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 blah. And if you just, okay, let's flip the switch. Let's set our mind aside. Let's put our mind over here. Maybe you have a nice little house plant. You can go have your mind sit in the house plant and just sit over there and leave you alone for a minute.
Every person in this world definitely has experienced that feeling that you're talking to right now. It's just a feeling of you just feel really good. It's something just makes you feel just feels so good. Whatever it is, it could be a thought that comes through your mind. It could be something you saw. It could be something you experienced. It doesn't necessarily have to be one specific thing. It could be many different things, but that feeling is the same thing. And that's the feeling that you're talking about. And I love that feeling.
And it's a difficult thing, though, at the same time, because as you mentioned, Cheryl, the fear-based thoughts are very logical and linear, whereas heart-based thoughts, in a world that is continuously telling us that we need to be at a certain level to be garnishing any type of respect, and to be coming from a perspective that's saying, no, where you're at is fabulous. Look for the good where you're at, even if it doesn't meet the standards of someone else, seems counterintuitive to what we were taught. We actually have a question for you, Cheryl.
I just want to make sure that I can...
Okay.
Oh, good. I can still hear you. Yay! We have a question.
I'm here.
Oh, good. We just have a question here from the Feather Lady on Ustream, Social Stream. Does Cheryl have any tips for fear or anger when you're in public? It's hard to stay calm. I meant hard to get quiet and pray when you're in a crowd and things go wrong.
That's a very tough time to make quick changes. And the real solution for that is that you do the practices when you can do it easily. Okay. When you're really, if I were in a crowd and everyone around me was feeling angry, remember our bodies are energy. We're like a tuning fork. And if everyone around us is angry and upset, you're going to feel that. You're going to resonate to that. If I were in a crowd and doing that, I could very easily take a couple of deep breaths, feel myself grounded, and make a choice of coming into the heart and asking myself, where do I need to be right now? And I'm not paying attention out in the world because I trust following my heart. But I've done practices. So in a minute, I'm going to explain some of those. So my heart might say, let's go here. Let's go there. And I'm out of that group in a red hot minute. I don't know how I wandered in there because remember, life's a mirror and I don't resonate there. Right. My chances of ending up there aren't much. So let's say that somebody that is still feeling fearful on some levels of their life gets drawn into those situations again and again. Then solving it when you're in the torrent, it's like learning to surf in a big, big wave. That's not going to happen. You got to learn to surf in the small waves.
So,
and then you're ready when the big ones hit.
That's right. The small waves are, that's actually the meaning of my name.
Really?
Yes.
I love it.
Yes, me too. So the smaller waves are...
The smaller waves are the practices. You have you are coming into the heart center. You're focused on, this is who I am. This is what I love. I'm becoming more uniquely me. And you do the tapping. You might use the Hawaiian Ho'oponopono prayer.
Mm-hmm.
PS Tech is also on my website, and the download is free.
Mm-hmm.
Tapas acupressure technique is free. That's also on my website. The links are to it. And you do some of these practices when you're safe and secure, when you could actually work on this feeling.
Right.
And very quickly you dissipate and discharge. And very soon you discover, oh, I can change that feeling.
Yeah.
I can think of this and change that feeling. Well, after you do it 10 times, very quickly, any place you are, you can think of whatever that is for you. Might be surfing. So I'm thinking of surfing and I feel the calm, or I feel that edgy excitement. Fine, then I follow my heart. Because if I'm in a fearful place, the next thing I want to know is, where should I be?
Yeah.
And then follow it.
Yeah.
And because there are fearful places. And we can all stumble into them because we have, genetic patterning that goes back centuries. So to think you're never going to feel fearful or never feel bad or never attract an angry person, that's not going to happen. And if you fight about it and fuss and say, I don't want any of the ornery ones in my life, the truth is, all you got to do is take out your own fear of the ornery ones,
Right.
and they won't bother you anymore.
Right.
I love it when somebody comes up and says something mean or stupid. It's like, oh, I must have some of that in my energy field, or they wouldn't. I don't say this out loud.
No. Not in a moment of heat.
So I'm looking at them, and I'm thinking, oh, this must be in my energy field. So because I've done tapping a lot, rather than the whole tapping process, I might just tap my fingers together to remind my body. And I might say something like, there's some part of me that's really ornery too. And I choose to let it go. And I'm just working on me. I'm not working on them.
So
Believe me,
there's
3 minutes, in only 3 minutes, that person will lose their train of thought.
Amazing, eh?
There's no connection with me anymore.
Right.
So once you do that a few times, all of a sudden it's like, I create my world.
Yeah.
I create my experience. It doesn't matter what crappy things happen. I can fix it.
So definitely recognizing what we're feeling, accepting that we're having the feelings, gives us the space to be able to change them. And what I'm hearing from you is that practice, being patient with self, compassionate, understanding, dedicated, and committed, essentially, again, being patient to stay on track with assisting self to realign within the heart, is what it is that is necessary in order to assist us in those moments when, as the Feather Lady was asking, when we find ourselves where we are feeling the negativity coming up, to have an easier time of calming it is basically practice.
And the practices really are doing something like EFT, where you've done it maybe 5 times, 10 times a day for about 2 weeks, and all of a sudden your body gets used to, oh, when I'm upset, she's just going to tap it out. Why bother anymore? And you're training yourself, practice.
Well, you're conditioning.
Anybody. Take a rock star. They play those chords over and over and over again. A basketball star. They shoot at that hoop. It would drive you nuts to go sit in the gym and just do that 5,000 times.
Yeah.
But that's why they're a champion. That's why it's quick and easy for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can all do that, but you got to. That's why this the World Tap Summit is so good. And there's others too. There's a variety of things, but this one's up right now. So follow along and do something on a regular basis. I mean, like 5 or 10 times a day. When you wake up in the morning, you're in an alpha state. When you go to sleep, you are. So use those times to come get centered. And if there's fear or anxiety, tap it out. You might tap in. This is going to be a good day. I know I'm going to have a good time today.
Yeah,
Make
it an affirmation.
Use it both ways. Yeah.
Yeah, affirm it. It's also it's the minute we ourselves are aware of something, like right now you're speaking about it. So if someone who's just listening in, for example, is just saying, oh, well, okay, well, then that's what I got to do. It may seem, if it's somebody does not think in this way on a daily basis, if it's not in their everyday life and they're hearing it for the first time, it's really not hard. It doesn't seem like it may seem like, oh, I have to do all this work. I've got to try this. I've got to do this 10 times. It's really not that at all. All it is the fact that right now, where we are all hearing what we're hearing with our beautiful and amazing special guest, Cheryl Janecky here, is what she's saying, is right now you are aware of this. And all it takes is awareness to get you started. And you're actually in it. Once the choice is that you are hearing it, it's within you. You've heard it, it's within your awareness. You're aware of it. Once you're aware of it, it's not that you have to try to make, it becomes a part of you because it's within you. You already are aware of it. I mean, I'm aware right now, for example, that, tomorrow I've been told by the weather forecast might rain. This is just an example. Well, I know it's in my awareness that it might rain. So then you do the actions necessary because of the awareness that is within. So it
becomes natural. It's
exactly.
a natural progression.
Yes.
We are rehabitualizing ourselves into the heart, as Cheryl was saying, or as we can say, into love, into positivity, into an optimistic perspective, and out of one that is based in negativity and fear.
Yeah,
and that's what we're doing, is we're teaching ourselves to realign the mind within the heart or within love, and trust, and to actually trust that realigning the mind within love is actually going to manifest the life that we are wanting to be living. And of course, by seeing your life in the now and looking for the things that you are enjoying, the things that you are wanting in the now, even if they're minuscule, provides you with the impetus to grow thereupon.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Cheryl, the Feather Lady, said thank you. That was very helpful.
Good.
And we would like to thank you also very, very much for joining us here today and for sharing your wisdom and your insights. It's wonderful, wonderful lessons to be learned and shared. And again, for everybody who's joined us here today.
I just wanted to also let everybody know, before, let everybody know before I just, because I have to have it up so everybody doesn't miss it. And it will be on recorded as well. But you can get to Cheryl's website, which I wanted to make mention again, Quick Good Fortune, and there's dashes in between .com.
And as Cheryl said, check out the tapping seminar. EFT seems to be your favorite out of the varying tools that are available. Would that be right to assume?
Well, we didn't get a chance to talk about all of them, but for severe trauma, say if somebody really had something really harsh happen to them in their childhood, or that as a child they perceived it, or they're very ill, or there's something up seriously where they're having trouble in life moving forward, there are two things I would do. One is PS Tech. It's connected to the EFT page, and it has a free download. And Tim has developed an audio track that will really change it's just a memory. That trauma isn't out in the world. It's not happening. It's just lodged in your body and in your brain. And Tim developed this system where it dislodged trauma, and the download to experience it is free. So that is an excellent resource, and I would definitely send clients to that if they have something that they're obsessing about. Then that's probably a quick, good way to go.
Wonderful.
Then I use Ho'oponopono a lot, but I don't have that. I don't have that page up yet because it's a process where it really works best when you're in the heart. And I'm still kind of working and writing, and I so appreciate this talk today because I think being in the heart is so critical. But as I get clearer, I'm going to put a page up about how to be in the heart more consistently, and
Wonderful.
then I'll post that on the Ho'oponopono.
Wonderful.
It's very interesting and so simple that when you were talking about the physical and being in the heart, which really is key, it is physical, right? The heart is the physical, so the feeling and everything that we are healing or manifesting or wanting or desiring to create in our reality, to heal and to grow and recondition, retrain, is really in the center of center in the heart, and that is the feeling. And so the feeling is your physical, and so therefore when you were saying, you know, when you're feeling that really good feeling, you're physically feeling it in your heart, is the connection that you have to make, I think, with the feeling of your mind, or that mind, quote unquote, that we say is the mind, or it's the thoughts, with the body. So it's kind of like, I think they sort of have to work as one.
Absolutely.
Well, and yet in the beginning, because the mind is so strong for most people, and remember, the brain is trying to keep you safe, so it's 90% negative. Yeah. It's don't go there, be careful of this, don't do that. You know, it kind of sounds like mom. And you need to really kind of back off from that and choose another focus, which is why, you know, it's a gentle process, and that's the bridging that you mentioned, where you really get your brain to realize that your real safety relies not in the fear, which means you attract fear, but in the heart, where you feel love, and now you attract love, and that's the only real safety there is.
Nice.
So training your brain, that process is really what makes the transition happen, because you're not going to let go of the fear until you really see that it is the heart that's creating the life you want.
Right. So trusting in love, and that's a big thing
one
for us.
It's a big one.
It's a big thing for people to trust that simply following your bliss and following that which makes you happy, following that which makes you feel the love, is actually what's going to assist you in living the life that you want to be living and manifesting the things you want to be manifesting. And so we keep ourselves from doing it, but really it's a matter of not trusting, switching our trust from fear to love.
Yeah.
Woo. Absolutely. And you've got to do it over and over. That's the practices again, where you are practicing it. I'm feeling fearful. I said, no. I really don't want to live in fear. I really choose being in my heart and loving. I just want to feel better in the moment. And you can tap, you can find something beautiful, you can put good music on, and pretty soon your heart will have an inspiration like, oh, make this phone call, or do this. And your day will go really quickly, and everything you needed to get done will get done.
Right.
But when you push with your mind, and the fear, oh, I got to call this person, that might not be the right time.
Right.
And so really tuning into the heart is really living a life of choice. And you're choosing, no, I'm going to be heart-centered. I'm going to trust myself and my soul self aligning with me. And I'm going to let the brain do the things it does well, make lists, drive the car, but not run my life. My life is really going to run from the heart and from the love and the compassion that I feel for myself first, safety first for me, and then I can share it with others.
Thank you so much, Cheryl, for sharing with us here today on Soul's Talking Brain on Being Love TV. I'd like to thank everybody who came out to the show today, and all who are watching the recorded show. As we just had up on screen were Cheryl's contact information, websites where you can connect with Cheryl personally, as well as benefit from the wealth of knowledge and resources that she has put together to assist each of we in this gentle, loving rehabitualization out of fear and into love. And we definitely highly recommend that you continue this journey with Cheryl and have a visit to her sites, her Facebook and her Twitter page. You will thank yourself for so doing.
Oh, yes. Well, you know, you have firsthand experience.
I do.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I do. Yes. Yeah. And I have to say, having been journeying with clients for close to 20 years now, I was able to find things within Cheryl's program that I've been able to use within my own guidance journeys with clients that they have found to be very productive as well. So it's, you know, life is never ending journey of learning and expanding with ever growing ways of us to be able to experience the beauty of living a heart-centered life.
That's right.
So on that note,
heart-centered, baby. Just keep centered into your heart. Cheryl, I am honored and I am very, very, very happy that we've had this wonderful opportunity. Thank you so much for sharing you and your energy here with us on Soul Stalking Brain Show at Being Love TV. And maybe soon, hopefully in the future, we will have you again.
Thanks so much. I have so enjoyed your questions, and I love the questions from others. Thank you too.
Oh, it's our pleasure.
Yay! So, as we bid adieu, we look forward to seeing all of you here in 2 weeks. We will be having another special, wonderful guest, so definitely do stay tuned. We're back in 2 weeks on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And next Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern is the Radiating Love Show with Ronnie Lipstein. I look forward to seeing all of you wonderful Earth Angels Divine there on Being Love TV. Until then, and throughout always, may your experience of being be one that is bathed in the light of love. Mwah.
Souls, talking brain, enlightened minds, seeking out truths, seeing the world with the mind of those who see beyond the three-dimensionally. Souls, talking brain, ask the right questions, uncovers the blinds. Souls, talking brain, enlightening minds, oh yeah, seeking out truth. Souls, talking brain, ask the right questions. So, talking